When we expand expressions, we're using something called distributive property, but it's important to know what's actually happening when you're distributing. So, in this case, we've got 3 times a group of f plus 2. So here's what that means. I've got an f plus a 2, and an f plus a 2, and an f plus a 2. I have 3 groups of them. So what I know is that altogether, I've got a total of 3 f's. And altogether, I've got a 2 and a 2 and a 2. That's a total of 6. So I've got 3f plus 6. Through the use of distributive property, though, we can sort of do a shortcut around that. If I know that I'm going to have 3 groups of f, 3 times f is 3f. And I keep the sign, the plus there. If I'm going to do 3 groups of 2, I know 3 times 2 is 6. So I can sort of take a shortcut here as long as I know that what's really happening is I've got 3 groups here. If I look in the next one, it says 4 times a group of g plus 4. Well, that means that I have a g plus 4 and another g plus 4 and another g plus 4 and another g plus 4. I have 4 groups of g plus 4, which means I have a total of 4 g's and a total of 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 4 groups of 4, which is 16. I can also use distributive property here. 4 groups of g's is 4 g's, 4 times g. I keep the plus. 4 groups of 4 is 4 times 4, which is 16. I get the same answer without having to draw everything out here like I did. You don't need to draw everything out if you understand what distributive property really means. Why don't you try these 4 problems with distributive property? Just remember that if you're distributing something, it needs to be handed out to all parts of the expression. So don't just hand it out to the first part. Make sure you hand it out to the second part as well. If you're ever confused, you could actually draw them all out like I did on the last one. I don't recommend it. I think once you get the hang of it, you can just go through this sort of shortcut way to do this. Why don't you try these 4, then we'll go over them. As I look at the first one, I see that this is 2 groups of an h plus 7. So that's 2 groups of 8, h, which is 2h, plus 2 groups of 7, which is 14. If I look at the next one, I've got 9 groups of k minus 4, which means I have 9 times k, which is 9k, minus, because I keep that sign, 9 times 4, which is 36. That's the expanded version of this. If I look at the next one here, I've got 6 groups of 7s plus 9, which means I have 6 groups of 7s, which is 42 s's, and I have 6 groups of 9, which is 54. Last one, I have 3 groups of 9c's minus 6, so 3 groups of all that. 3 groups of 9c ends up being 27c, keep the minus. 3 groups of 6 is 18, and our summarized version of this is 27c minus 18.